I 26 was dating a girl 25 from my university. At first she was caring and loving and it all went great during 6 months in the relationship until my finals showed up. That's when everything went to shit. Having my finals meant spending more time studying and preparing myself in certain classes that I was having a tough time in, and with the more time I spent studying I spent less time with her. At first when I had that talk with her she seemed to understand, considering I'm pursuing a chemistry engineering major while she's aiming for a hospitality management degree, and according to her, she was going after a much easier degree and she didn't mind. So we stopped seeing for about a week and a half. We would text occasionally during that time but not as much as we used to. One night that I was finishing up some work that I needed to get done she texted me talking about this one friend she had. For privacy I'll call him Brian. Brian according to her is a good friend and generally a good guy. He's pretty much of an extrovert with a wide social circle, while I'm the total opposite being an introvert with a very closed social group of people who I call friends and the rest of people I know are mere acquaintances. After my finals we spend more time together but it was always Brian this Brian that. So at first it was weird but it got to the point that I was fed up, so one day as a joke I said, "What do you want to date him or why are you always talking about him?" You can guess she didn't take it as a joke and instead she acted offended even implying that I was accusing her of cheating. That's when all the dots started to connect. If there isn't something going on then why was she suddenly all defensive and upset? But I guess I decided to wait to get actual proof. Week after week she would cancel the plans at the last minute if I was lucky. She stood me up in my birthday since we were supposed to meet at a restaurant along with my dad to celebrate. Even my roommate at the time asked me if I was okay. She saw me upset a lot of those times and even talked to me. After a few months one day I told my ex to meet at a coffee shop. Prior to that during the whole week I behaved like an asshole. I was already mentally preparing myself to pull away from that relationship. When she got to the coffee shop she tried to give me a kiss but I just pulled away. She asked what was wrong and I just said, "I already know." It was thing my dad would always say to me when I was hiding something and it worked well to make people say the truth. As soon as I said, "I already know," and she saw my face dead serious she looked down and said, "Who told you? Was it Kev?" Kev is my closest friend and even if he did tell me I would basically ignore it. So I just said, "Maybe, but I want to hear it from you." And she just started crying and saying how much she was sorry that she didn't mean to hurt me and that she had only been seeing Brian for 2 months. I wanted to cry, to yell at her, to be angry. But I couldn't, it's a truth I was already aware of. So I just asked, "How did this happen?" and her story went like, "We were at a party from one of our mutual friends when you had finals and I was pretty upset because you didn't pay attention to me. So when Brian saw me upset he talked with me and he made me feel safe and loved. Even if you did make me feel safe and loved it was different and I liked it. After that we hooked up and later we began seeing each other every weekend." When she said those things it felt like if someone had punched me in the stomach. I felt sick. She tried to apologize and she said that we could still make it work. But I've already knew that it was not possible so I told her to enjoy the last coffee she was going to share with me because it was the last. I paid for both the coffees and I left, not saying goodbye. That night I called my dad and talked about it with him. I never asked my dad for any advice in this situation but he just told me that what's not meant to be will never be and that it was best to not try to store any negative feelings against her or the guy. So he just quoted his favorite artist saying, "How beautiful is revenge when God grants it to us." Recently one of her friends told me that she ended up getting pregnant from Brian with him refusing to take responsibility from the kid. And she told me that I should be careful since my ex was telling her parents that it was my kid even though we broke up more than a year ago. Right now I decided to just go with the flow of life. It took me a while to get over it but I made it. And well now I'm dating my former roommate which is kinda funny. Thank you for reading me.